city of Union City, a cosmopolitan city where almost all of us have seen each other. We are like a large family that through the management of our representatives, they help our citizens. And our people do volunteer work because they know that the city is run by a mayor who has shown that he is not the common politician, but that he works for his community. This program is an extension of information, where we are going to have participation of personalities from the public and private sectors so that they can keep us informed of the community. May that be educational activities and everything that benefits us.
Good evening, Union City, the Dream City. We are here in Union City, New Jersey, the Dream City, as every Sunday, 7 p.m. And my name is Kennedy NG. Tonight, we have a very special guest from the Fire Prevention Department from Union City, New Jersey. We have one of the best guys in that department, Ronnie Guerra. Good evening.
Good evening, Kennedy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming, passing by the Dream City to talk about important issues in the city of Union City, Hudson County.
Absolutely. Anytime. It's an honor.
Very good. Can we start telling the community, the Dream City, about you, about your education, about your family, a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Ronnie Guerra. I'm 33 years old. I grew up in Union City. I went to elementary school here and I went to high school here. My parents are both immigrants from Ecuador who came here for working opportunities. They raised me here in Union City my whole life. I started at George Washington Elementary School.
Wow.
Yes.
I was a teacher there.
Really?
Long time ago.
I feel like we're going to have a lot of similarities in this interview.
I can see that.
Right after that, I went to Union Hill High School. Go Hillers. If everybody knows, that was the former high school uptown in Union City. And then after Union Hill High School, I enlisted in the United States Navy, where I served 4 years, active duty, military, in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Wow. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience being in the military services?
Yeah, absolutely. I got to travel the world, basically. I wanted to seek new opportunities as a stepping stone for my education and for the things that I wanted to do in the future, which obviously eventually would turn out to be the fire service. In the military, I got to be a boat operator, and I also got to be a firefighter, which is where I started that first initial part of training that I needed to eventually get to the position that I am in today. I deployed once in 2011 to the Mediterranean Sea and also to the Middle East.
How many sisters and brothers you have?
I have 2 older sisters. One is 40 years old and the other is 45.
They still in Union City or they moved out of the town?
They moved out of town, but they're very close by. They're very local with the community. My one sister lives in North Bergen and my other sister resides in the same town as me in Rutherford.
Let me ask you this. How you get involved in the military? Did someone advise you the good things about that, or it was something that you have inside of you?
That's a great question, Kennedy. I actually enlisted in the military as kind of just everything aligning with my focus on eventually one day entering into the fire service. I knew from a very young age I wanted to be a firefighter. And I knew that being a firefighter in New Jersey is very competitive. And so the opportunity came to me when I was in high school to enlist into the military. I was recruited by Navy recruiters who advised me of all the opportunities that I could have if I enlisted in the military. And also that if I enlisted, I would have veterans preference to be hired with the fire department.
Great. That was very smart.
I think so too. My mom was obviously really upset when I left, but as she looks back on it now and she says it was an amazing opportunity.
Now that you're working for the city of Union City, how do you like working for Union City Fire Prevention? And tell me the truth, because this is the real thing, the Dream City.
Right. So working in fire prevention is actually where I wanted to be. I wanted to actually do my community service in Union City. In 2017, I was hired as a firefighter with North Hudson Regional Fire Department, which is where I started my fire service career. And through networking opportunities, I was able to obtain a job here at Union City Fire Prevention, thanks to the help of Eduardo Valdivia, the Union City Fire official, and the Deputy Director of Fire Prevention, Glenn Gavin.
And who is your direct supervisor?
My direct supervisor, like I said, is the fire official. I am a fire inspector. Just like all the other inspectors, we have currently about 14 fire inspectors.
All full-time or part-time?
Full-time and part-time.
Okay. And when you say part-time, how many hours daily?
It could be anywhere from 2 to 3 days a week for 8 hours,
okay,
depending on the schedule.
Ronnie, tell me about the requirements to be a fire prevention inspector.
So,
general
requirements, obviously, you have to be certified by the state of New Jersey as a fire inspector. Generally, there's two ways that you can do that. You can do that through a higher learning institution, such as a college, that offers the certification, or you can go through a...
and when you say college, it's 4 years or just a couple of years? Or
It would be an accreditation certification for the state of New Jersey. You're certified to be a fire inspector in the state.
And you mentioned another way to get the certification too?
Yes, you could also do your certification through a county fire academy. These are the academies where state firefighters train to become firefighters, but they also offer courses in furthering the fire education services.
How many courses we are talking about?
So to become the inspector, it's generally, depending on where you go, it varies, but ideally, usually it's about 5 to 6 months, classes for about 4 hours, maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
And you have to pay with your own money, or the government could do the reimbursement of the money if you pass the test?
It is possible to get reimbursed through a municipality, but most of the time, inspectors usually pay out of pocket.
So after you get the license, the certification, you pass the courses. So with that certification, is only good for Union City, or you can use that in the entire New Jersey state?
Absolutely. You can use that certification. It's statewide certification. You are certified to work for any authority as long as you maintain your certificate.
Good. Tell me the challenges that currently in the fire services that may or may not affect our community. And we're talking about Union City in the Hudson County.
So the fire service has changed dramatically in the last couple of years. Statistically, the number of fires are down, but the severity of these fires are increasing due to the type of fires that we are seeing in our community. More recently, the biggest issue that we're facing is with the combustible products from lithium-ion battery fires.
And we're going to be talking about that deeply.
Right. And then also just regular content fires that involve heavy plastics that burn and produce toxic gases. So the types of fires that we're seeing now involve heavy plastic materials. Obviously, in this day and age, we have a lot of technology with mobile devices and electronics, and these devices that we carry in our homes and in our businesses, when they catch fire, they burn at a significantly higher rate than normal combustible materials such as wood.
That's a good information for the city.
Absolutely. And the second biggest challenge that we're currently seeing is battery fires that involve lithium-ion batteries.
And I'm going to ask you about that, because I understand that there is a lot of issues with the e-bikes. Can you elaborate a little bit about the issues that we having now with these electronic batteries?
Yeah, absolutely. This is information that's very important. And
this is one of the I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is one of the reasons that I call you for this interview, especially for this question.
Absolutely. So, lithium ion battery fires involve battery packs that have battery cells that are stronger and larger than your normal average battery that you would put in your portable electronic device. These batteries carry a lot of energy, a lot of electricity, and usually the e-bikes or the type of devices that
It's
use
large. Those are large.
very large fuel cell. And believe it or not, that large fuel cell that you see people taking on and off their devices is loaded with almost sometimes 100 of those battery cells.
Very powerful.
Very powerful. Because obviously we see them in our communities. We see that they're fast. We see that they carry people and their personal items through the streets. And so the problem is that when these batteries malfunction, if there is something that happens to the battery, if one of the fuel cells is ruptured, if there is a disruption in the power source of the battery has the potential to explode. And when we're talking about a fuel cell that contains dozens of batteries, if one cell fails, then the next one next to it fails, and it just starts a chain reaction.
And that's a big problem. I heard in the news, I don't remember the state, that a big fire occurred in a factory.
Right.
And it was a disaster.
Absolutely. These are not your average fires. I myself am a firefighter with North Hudson Regional, and we are aware of the situation, and we are trying to educate the public on these type of fires, because when we have these kind of fires in our community, the fire department many times is behind the curve.
So when you mention educating the community,
Right.
what will be the advices that you give the community in terms of the e-bikes when they have to charge the battery, where to charge it, and when to charge it?
So when you're charging your device, you need to understand that you're putting power into this device that's carrying a lot of batteries, fuel cells. And so if you are not in the vicinity of the device and something goes wrong with that device and it starts a fire, it has the potential to rapidly accelerate and completely engulf a room with fire. Almost explosive is the description that we've been seeing from other fire departments when they explain these type of fires. It's very different from your average fire that maybe starts by accident. Maybe somebody drops a candle, maybe a cigarette. It's a small fire and it takes time to build. And by the time we get the notification for that fire, we have the chance to put it out because it's small. Maybe a fire extinguisher, maybe somebody throws water on it. But these battery fires are much more dangerous because they explode and they intensify very rapidly.
And I imagine this could happen probably a lot of times at nighttime.
Yes.
People are working with those bicycles.
Absolutely.
They go home. They're supposed to be resting. They take the batteries, they charge it inside of the apartment or the house. Is that a good practice?
It is a good practice if you're going to have the device. Like I said, you want to be in the vicinity of the device and you don't want to leave the device unattended. It's like many other things that can start fires.
So it's not a good thing to go to sleep and leave the battery charging by itself without attention.
If you're not properly paying attention to it, yes, I would recommend not to charge it. And the other thing that we want to do too is not overcharge the battery as well.
And how do you know if you are not overcharging the?
Most of the batteries do have a meter that indicate when the battery is fully charged. When you see that your device is fully charged, you should disconnect it.
Like the cell phone.
Right. Because when you have it charged and plugged into the wall, you're adding a thermal current into the device. And if there's a malfunction, this device is going to take off with heat.
Do you need a special outlet to charge the batteries or regular 120, 115?
Regular 120 and 115, but we do recommend that you do not overcharge your device in multi-plug adapters, extension cords. Those are the kind of things that you want to stray away from. You want to make sure that your device is properly plugged into a household outlet.
What recommendation would you say to the community or to those people who going to buy e-bikes? When they go to the store, they go to Burger Line, they go to the mall.
Right.
What are the requirements that we should look for before we buying those devices?
That's a good question. So, first, you want to make sure that you do your research, go online, make sure that you're looking at the type of products. You want to go with a well-known brand product and a product that's going to offer you something of a safety certificate as testing for the device. Usually, a UL Underwriter Laboratory certificate of safety is the most general that we see with the lithium-ion battery bicycles. You want to make sure you're buying it from a valid business. You're not just buying it from somebody that you've met in public. You want to buy it in good condition. You don't want to buy it used because you don't know what happened to the device before you buy the device. And then you also want to make sure that you follow the manufacturer's instruction to not put this product under strain where it could potentially malfunction.
Does the city have any new ordinance about the e-bike? I'm talking about the batteries, the new buildings, or all buildings to have a chargers outside of the building or a special place so that we can avoid those fires?
Yes. So actually, this issue is so new that there actually isn't a specific code on lithium-ion battery fires and handling of lithium-ion bikes in the New Jersey State Fire Code. That's how new it is. We're talking about within the last year or so. The New Jersey Division of Fire Safety is literally, as we speak, writing the new code to address the current issue. So
the city of Union City is on top of that.
Absolutely.
That's what I wanted to tell the community, or we want to tell the community, that the city is not, is not blind about the issue, that we
Absolutely.
are working on that.
Absolutely. Me, myself, personally, along with the fire official, we have gone to every known e-bike seller in Union City to inspect the property. The good thing about the New Jersey State Fire Code is that there is a minimum requirement to a fire code and a maximum. And so we're using the minimum required codes where we see that it is a hazard for lithium-ion batteries to enforce the codes that are already in place to keep the citizens safe.
Is your department in conjunction with the city, Mayor Stack, and the other administrators doing workshops to the city, to the community?
Absolutely.
To prevent and to educate the community about
Absolutely. We're doing that also through our public information campaigns. We're handing out flyers throughout the city. We're advising building owners and tenants when we conduct these inspections. And we also have a open line to communicate with our office if you have any questions, the Union City Fire Prevention Bureau.
Okay. Any phone number that people can reach you?
Yes, absolutely. Our telephone number for the Union City Fire Prevention Bureau is 201-351-5960. We're open regularly on business hours. However, we are on call as a emergency department. If there is an issue when we are not in the office, we will get notified through a paging system.
Ronnie, tell me about on a general inspection, so step by step. You go to a building. Tell me what's going on.
That's a great question. So a routine periodic inspection is one that occurs with the building owner. Whoever owns the building, whoever owns the business that we're inspecting, we try our best to meet with a representative of the building in order to do a top to bottom inspection of the building. We are going into every single room. We do not inspect apartments because that's considered private area of the building, but the common areas we are absolutely inspecting. And so before the inspection even occurs, we schedule the inspection with the building owner through the city's records. We contact the building owner, we schedule a time and a date for the inspection, and we meet with the building owner or representative the day of the inspection. Typically, we will inspect the common area, we will inspect exits. We'll inspect utilities. We will inspect exterior egresses and areas to get out of the building.
During inspections, you find the 3 or 4 items are not, under the code.
Right.
So what will you do? Is your department capable to close down the building, or what's the next?
Good question. So, as I stated before, there is a state minimum and there is a state maximum where we can enforce the fire code. Some infractions, some violations are very minimal. There are set dates where we can speak to a building owner and say, hey, we're going to point this out, that your emergency exit light is not functioning properly. We're going to give the building owner 30 days to fix the issue and follow up with our department on how they fix the issue and document it in our report.
Know. I'm going to ask you this, and maybe you don't know the answer, but I'm going to guess. In case your department, in conjunction with building department, decide to close down a building, who is in charge to relocate those tenants, and who pay for that?
Okay, so when we talk about the type of violation that could potentially shut down a building, we're talking about what we like to call an imminent hazard. It is a hazard that is present at this current moment and that does not protect the occupants of the building, and to the point that we have to stop the occupancy of the building until the issue at hand is resolved. This could be somewhere where we don't have a properly functioning fire alarm system. It could be a blocked emergency egresses. It could be any kind of safety hazard for the quality of life of the occupants of the building. And the building owner is ultimately, by the fire code, responsible to accommodate displaced tenants.
And that's good to know, and that's good for the tenants and the landlords to sometimes we take it for granted, the landlords, tenants, administrators, inspectors, that we know everything. Sometimes not.
Absolutely. Until I became a fire inspector, I wasn't aware of some of these codes myself too. And the more serious infractions, yes, these are things that need to get addressed immediate, the imminent kind of hazards, in order to place the occupants safely into a building.
Do you think the Union City community is well protected by your department in terms of fires, preventions? You think that we are really educated to prevent?
I tell you what, I think we've come a very long way from the time that when I was younger, we didn't have these resources going back 20, 25 years ago. The city is much more safe than it used to be now with our Fire Prevention Bureau. This is a resource that we can give to our community members in order to address safety issues. Like I said, we have many lines of communications through the mayor's office, through all of our departments at City Hall. We work in conjunction in order to provide the maximum amount of safety that we can to protect our residents. We want to protect lives. We like to think in the fire department and in the fire service, we can always replace property. We can always rebuild a new building, but we can't replace a life. And that is ultimately our responsibility.
That's good to know. Ronnie, watching you expressing yourself, very well educated, very smart, and you're very young. When you go to places for inspections,
right,
do they respect you because you look so young?
That's a very good question. I have gotten times where people will say, "Are you my inspector?
Are you really the inspector?
is this for real?" And I tell them, yes, it's part of the routine inspection. We provide identification. We provide them with the documents. The city provides us a vehicle that is used for official business in inspections. So yeah, I do get that question a lot. Are you my inspector? You look very young. And I say, yeah, believe it or not.
That's good.
I've lived in this community my whole life, and
That's good to know. You're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah.
Good report about you. Okay?
Absolutely.
Ronnie, anything that you can probably add to this conversation, or you want to call it interview, that the community should know that probably we didn't talk about it?
we put out a lot of information just speaking in conversation right now, but we just want to, at the Union City Fire Prevention Bureau, reiterate that we're here for the community. We're here if the community has any questions, if they have any concerns, things that they believe might be a safety issue. We are here to help provide the knowledge and education that we have through our certification and through our resources at City Hall in order to keep the residents safe.
Your department is a good department, one of the best in Union City. I know personally Mr. Glenn, Mr. Isola, good people there came to the Dream City for an interview.
Right.
They spoke about a lot of good information for the city, for the community, for the Dream City. And you are a very professional young guy. You provide a lot of information. Thank you for passing by the Dream City.
Thank you so much,
It was
Kennedy.
an honor.
Absolutely.
As every Sunday, 7 p.m. here in Union City, New Jersey, United States, tonight we have a very special guest, Ronnie Guerra, a very smart young fire prevention inspector from Union City, New Jersey. I hope you learned a lot. And any question, he gave the phone number, or you can contact us here, the Dream City. My name is Kennedy NG, and I hope you watch our next show next Sunday, 7 p.m. here in Union City.